Subscribe to Teckoh on YouTube or you will forever be a bot at Fortnite.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So, improving at Fortnite is obviously a pretty complicated task. You may be putting in the time, practicing your building and editing, maybe doing some aim maps and stuff like that as well, and feel like you're just not making any progress. Or, you might also be a player who's making decent progress, but feel like you can still improve faster and reach a higher level. Either way, no matter who you are, what I'll be doing in today's video is giving you guys the most important tips that you'll need to know in order to become a better player and start improving insanely fast in Fortnite. If you go on to enjoy this video, be sure to drop a like on it and consider subscribing as well if you'd like to see more content just like this in the future. And with that said, let's get into the first tip. The first tip of this video is probably going to be the longest one, but also the most important, and that's practicing efficiently. You might be thinking, well, I play X amount of hours per day and I'm practicing for the majority of that time. And that's great and all, but in reality, the odds are that you're not practicing to the best of your ability. Something I see way too many players doing is simply hopping into creative or a pub match and kind of just screwing around the majority of their time online. Now, I'm obviously not going to tell you not to have fun, but if you're starting to reach a higher level and feel like you're being held back from improving, then stuff like pubs or mindlessly building in creative isn't really going to bring you very far. Instead of that, I recommend having somewhat of a set routine when you hop on, or just a decent idea of what you're going to do. I've talked to a ton of pro players and coaches, and you wouldn't believe the amount of grind these guys put in to be the best. They're doing things like aim maps, editing drills, 1v1s and scrims pretty much all day to reach that top level. And one thing they're not doing is sitting in Discord watch parties or sitting in creative doing 90s for 4 hours. So ultimately, here's what I want you all to take away from this tip. When you get on, have at least decent knowledge of what you're going to do to improve today. For example, aiming and building for your warm-up, then playing a few games of arena, then hopping into some realistic 1v1s, then practicing some editing drills or techniques. Maybe add some Kovacs or other aim training into the mix as well, which we'll talk about later if you want to improve on that. And then, when you have that extra time, you can do all that just for fun stuff that might not be the best for improvement. But overall, having somewhat of a set schedule or routine when you play, along with simply focusing on keeping your practice efficient, is going to help you an incredible amount and make you a much better player. Whether you want to write a pure hour-by-hour schedule, or just have some sort of plan as to what you'll be doing to improve, you can keep yourself on track and thus see improvement way faster. Second up in this video, guys, what I want to start talking about is the people you actually surround yourself with and practice with. As you probably know, your surroundings have a profound impact on you both in real life and in game. And the bottom line is that if you surround yourself with people who don't really put any effort into the game, or people who really just don't care to improve, then that's going to hold you back a ton from improving. Now, obviously, I'm not going to sit here and tell you to go dump all your friends who don't want to go pro in Fortnite, because that's just ridiculous. But, choosing wisely when it comes to who you surround yourself with pertaining to gaming will allow you to be held accountable and will also give you some great players to practice both with and against. If you're interested in finding some people to play with and practice with, then check out my Discord server, which you can find at discord.gg/Teckoh or the link in the description, because we've got a ton of awesome people there in the server and chats where you can find people who play on your region as well, so make sure to check that out. Another thing that sort of relates to the last tip is playing against better players. Everything in Fortnite comes down to adapting. If you're playing a 1v1, then you're adapting to the tactics your opponent is using. If you're playing an aim trainer, then you're adapting to the different drills, which in turn helps you improve your aim. So why would you play against people you can easily destroy, who aren't going to make you adapt to anything? The issue here is that going up against your console friend who can't even 90 isn't going to make you improve, and that's what a lot of us are stuck doing. Obviously no hate to you console players, by the way, it's just an example. But putting yourself up against better players is going to help you adapt and improve at the game faster as a result. You may be wondering, how can I actually find better players to go against? Well, there are a few things you can do. First off, you can simply find better players to grind 1v1s against, start playing more arena since it matches you with players around your level, or if you're already going against good players consistently, what you can do is make other areas of your practice more difficult. For example, using a harder Kovac scenario or practicing more difficult techniques. Whichever way you decide to do it, going against better players or otherwise making your practice more difficult will make a massive difference in your improvement over time. Another critical part of improving at Fortnite is working on your game sense and decision making. Now, there are multiple, in fact, tons of ways to work on this, but by far my favorite is VOD reviewing. Now, I'm sure you guys have heard of VOD reviewing before, since almost every tips and tricks YouTuber loves to shove it down your throat every video, but I really can't make a video about improvement without at least covering it. Ultimately, VOD reviewing consists of looking back at your own gameplay and finding areas where you can improve. This not only allows you to analyze your decisions and thus make better decisions in the future, but it can also help you find areas to focus on and improve in your gameplay. For example, if you watch your VODs and you notice that you pretty much always miss your pump shots when you're in somebody's box, then you know to practice that in your aim training, like something like an aim duel or anything of that nature. Or if you keep messing up the Mongrel Classic, then you can take some time to work on that. Also, relating to the Mongrel Classic, I have an awesome map that you guys can use to practice that if you're interested. I'll put the code up on screen right now. It's kind of unrelated to the topic of the video, but I figured I'd put that in there. To actually find the VODs to review, you can either watch them in replay mode, if you have that enabled, or you can simply record your gameplay with something like Shadowplay if you're on PC. Then, what I recommend doing is simply grabbing a notepad, getting your recording or replay, and taking notes on the things you notice. VOD reviewing is one of the main ways that pros improve and will help you tremendously if you're trying to reach that high level. Another option you guys have, which I rarely see anybody talking about, is VOD reviewing with a partner. What you would do is send them one of your replays, and in return they'll send you one of theirs. Then you both VOD review and critique the other person's gameplay and then send them back the notes. This is a great way to not only get a second opinion while also helping them out, but another benefit is that you can also learn things from their gameplay which you can implement into yours. So overall, that's definitely one of the best ways to VOD review. Finally guys, the last thing I want to discuss in this video is aim training. Now, the reason I'm including aim training in this video is because I believe aim is one of the most common things that holds players back in Fortnite. Most of us can crank out some 90s or do a few retakes, but then when it comes down to the actual fight, when we're actually right up against our opponent and have to hit the shot, we end up missing our shots and getting sent back to the lobby. And that's why I strongly recommend that everybody watching this video starts doing some form of aim training on a consistent basis. Now, since I've done some aimed videos in the past, I'm not going to go too in depth with this, but a few things you can do include aim duels, which you can do with the map I'm putting on screen right now. Another option you have is to use an in-game aim trainer, which I recommend Scavix for, which once again I'll put the code up on screen too. It has so many scenarios like ARs, shotguns, flicks, it even has like an edit course, so it's a great map. Or if you play on mouse and keyboard on PC, you can also use Kovacs. If you want to get a bit more in depth with all the aim training stuff, then I have a lot of videos on my channel which you can check out to work on your aim. If you want to check them out, I cover all of the aim training stuff in a bit more detail. I definitely recommend giving those a watch after you finish up this video. I'll put the links to some of them in the description. But speaking of finishing this video, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap it up for today's video. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more videos just like this in the future. Also, if you want to check out any of my other socials, including Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram, then they're all going to be linked down in the description. But with that said, I hope you all have an amazing day, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye for now.